Okay, guys, getting started with Shokker Paint Booth. This is your first time loading in, trying to figure out what's going on. Let's show you how to do it. So when you first load into the program after you bought it and you're in the alpha, you're going to see something that looks like this. There is a ton of stuff in here, but I'm going to give you the quick and dirty, easy version for this video. So the first thing you've got to always make sure of, your iRacing user ID has to be in this box up here. My ID is the 23371, so I've got that set. Also, your iRacing car folder over here, whatever car that you're working on at the time, make sure you set it. So click the folder button, and I've already got mine, iRacing paint folder. So if you go to your paints folder, you can see all of the cars that you own. I am working on a dirt late model 438 dirt late model. So I just click that, and then you don't click your car number, you don't click anything in here. Just set it to point to the 438 and hit select. And then it says iRacing folder set down here in the corner, and you're ready to go. Then load a source paint, and I'm going to load a paint image from one of my folders. I've already got this set, so I am going to load a Scott Bloomquist flat dirt paint. So it renders the source paint here and the preview on the right side. If you don't know how to do anything and you're just wanting to make a car one thing or another without going through any of the zones or anything special, the only thing you've got to do is click remaining. Click your in zone 1, click remaining. That catches anything not claimed by the zones above. What that means is when you click remaining in here, it selects the whole canvas. Every color, every pixel is selected. So then you click your bases. You've got tons of options to pick. Now some of these will change they'll change the car. So you don't want to do that. Like if you click Stellar Dust, it's going to make the Stellar Dust paint over the car, and you probably don't want to do that. It's something you might want to try, but I'm guessing most people would not want to do that. So if you're just wanting to change the base, you come in, click on any of the base options. So if you want a frozen base on this Scott Bloomquist car, click frozen. It doesn't change the color. These foundation bases don't change the background color, it only changes the spec. So you can see the spec map loaded here. And you can actually click channel to channel and see what it's doing between the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel. And there is the combined channel. All you have to do is hit render. If you've got it pointed to your dirt late model 438 folder, then it's going to take about 10 seconds to render. You come to iRacing, you load the paint in to a replay. I recommend doing replays, that way you can see the paint better in different lighting. But there's just a frozen base of this Scott Bloomquist paint scheme. Now if you wanted to say I want a chrome car, you really just want a totally chromed out car, you click chrome. You see that it changes the spec map in the preview here. And you can change the strength of the spec. So right now I'm going to leave it on 100. We're not going to get into any of these tools yet. Just click render. You want chrome. You're going to have chrome Scott Bloomquist car. So now you've got the chrome look on the car. You've got the color shifting, or well, the shifting because of the lighting. We do have color shifting with some of the more advanced stuff that we've got going on here. But there we go. We got a chrome, easy to do chrome paint scheme. If that is too much chrome, you can kick the strength down like 35% strength. You're still going to have a little bit of chrome come through. You can see here it's changed the live preview on the spec map already. Come back over here, Control R, and you've still got the chrome, but it's not quite as it's not quite as detailed. So the easiest way, if you want to get in this program and you just want to put a spec on a particular car without doing anything else, the whole paint scheme, you can use any of these bases, and that should work. So if you wanted to go wet look, like a little bit of a wet look, I'll take the spec strength back up to 100 and click render. You can see again, there's not much of the R here. You see what it's doing with the G and the B channels. Come back over here, and you've kind of got that little bit of a wet look to the paint scheme. Now, if you want to get more advanced, we can do that though, without even going into a whole lot more detail. So let's just say that we want to keep the car chrome. I'm going to turn off all these other bases. These little I buttons turns off the bases of the other zones. I'm only working in zone number 1 right now. And I'm working with every color because I've clicked remaining. So it's working with the entire base. Right now I've got it chrome. And we are going to just scroll down a little bit. There's spec patterns that I've got preloaded into this. So you can click add a spec pattern. And if you wanted to put in a carbon weave pattern, I've got some set up. So this is a carbon plane weave here. We can click it. Now the base itself is not going to change all that much from what you can see here. You've got opacity and range sliders, so I'll turn the opacity up. I'll turn the range up, and you can see it changing here in the spec. Now you can also turn off or on the 3 channels, so the metallic, the roughness, or the clear coat. You can have them all on, you can have one of them on, you can have all 3 of them on, however you want that. So I'm just going to leave this carbon weave on at 100% opacity. It's already rendered. Come back over here. And then you can see the carbon weave coming through the base. And it's coming through the whole thing right now though, because I've got it over the whole car. So it's coming through the numbers, the logos, everything. We can also add patterns on it, but since I've got it over the whole car right now, I don't want to add a pattern on this specifically. So, but you can also add another spec layer, another spec pattern layer on top of this one. So we could grab, I don't know, if you wanted to do a radial sunburst, we can do that and see how it adds the radial pattern in the spec base here. You could change the opacity and the range. See, it's changing it here. You can change the scale. You can scale it up or down. I'm going to click re-render and see what happens here. It's going to change it. We've still got the carbon underneath, but we've also got this sunburst pattern. It's going to try to come through. It's going to probably be harder to see on this black. Yeah, so that's going to be harder to see on the black. But we can do different things. We could do flow lines. So then you get the flow lines going through the carbon weave. Come over here, click render again, and see how intricate the spec pattern is with just using the program without having to go in and to the channels individually and doing all the different stuff. Your red channel, your green channel, your blue channel. So the blue's turned off here. There is no clear coat. We could turn the clear coat on. Now this one's taking a little longer to render on the flow lines. I'm actually going to change that to, let's do a micro facet. It rendered, so let's look and see what we've got here. And with this car being mostly black, it is harder to see what it's doing with the spec overlay patterns. But you can see the carbon for sure coming through. Okay, so I'll go back over here and we will actually start playing with the car, doing a little more exotic things. I'm going to get into a color shift, or try to. So this is how I would go about doing it. I'm going to restore all, so just restore all the zones back to the way they were. And we will start one at a time. We'll pick colors out one at a time. So over here in the selection, you've got to pick color. It's already selected pick color. I'm going to click the red. You see down here that it's selected that red color. I'm going to click add. It's already on zone 1. I'm going to add that red color to zone 1. I'm going to click hard edges to remove soft blending at the zone boundaries. And you do have a tolerance slider. So for the red, you can turn it up to catch more colors of red or less to catch just this color of red. So I'm going to take it down to like 20-ish. And then I think this color of red may be different, so I'm also going to add it to zone 1. It is a different color of red, so I'm going to add that red also of the eyes. So you can add many colors to one zone, but I'm only primarily going to work with one color a zone. So that red is good enough for zone 1. For zone 2, I'm going to make it the white that you see on the paint scheme. So I'm going to click somewhere that's got some of the white. Click add. It shows it here to add. I'm going to take the tolerance all the way down to 5. So I've got the white on zone 2. On zone 3, I'm going to add these different colors of silver and gray. And since there's several of them, I'm not going to mess with the tolerance too much. I'm going to add that. I'm going to get over here and add this. I'm going to get in here and add this one. And maybe here. So I've got 4 different kind of colors of this gray. I'm going to leave the tolerance there for now. I do need to select hard edge. I forgot to do that on 2. And then go back to number 4, body color 4. The primary color of the car is black. And that's where we're going to try to do a color shift. So I'm going to click on black. I'm going to click add. I'm going to kick the tolerance way down. Hard edge. And then we'll go through them one at a time. So let's start on the red. On the red, for the base, you have tons of options. You have all these base options. There's paradigm options, color shocks. I mean, we've got different, we've got all kinds of different things we can play with. And you've got hundreds of bases to mess with. And all the bases have their own spec maps. So I see some of these are not loading. I got to fix that right there. Let's see. What do we want? Let's try one of the tri-zone patterns. It's glass, metal, and matte. So that's the base. That's not the color. That is the base. So for the color, You can use the source paint, which is the red that's already here, or you can change it. You can change it to another solid color, you can change it to a gradient, or you can change it from one of the special finishes. That's any of these. Now this is already red, so it's probably going to look really weird if I don't use some kind of red. Um, let's see. I'm going to go with, how about this Mortal Shock Soul Drain, because it is mostly red. It's got some of the white. You can see what it's done to the spec map here. Um, let's put a pattern on it too. It's only going to be in the red, so the pattern may not show up great. We'll see if we can get something to show up. I'm going to try to throw on a micro sparkle pattern at 100% range and opacity. And I'm just going to render it right there and just see what happens. Now we haven't done anything to these other layers yet, these other zones. But as it renders, let's see what we did to the red. Yep, I can see that it definitely has worked in the red. You can see what it's doing in the red here. I think that is a pretty nice effect. Yeah, yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so I like what I've done with the red there. Let's go to the white. And with the white having a lot of the sponsor stuff, you can stamp sponsor layers over it, go back into Photoshop and stamp over top of it. But for the sake of this, I'm going to try not to do that. So I'm not going to mess too much with the white. Let's just make sure you're in zone 2. Let's just make white a, let's go metallic. Just metallic white, nothing fancy. That should, I'm not even going to try to change the colors, so I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm going to go to zone color 3. We'll do metallic here too. And I'm not going to change anything else. I'm going to leave that alone. Zone 4, here's where we're going to play a little bit. I'm going to change this to a metallic base. I think we want to do. Yeah, we'll start with a metallic base because we're going to do some other stuff with this. So let's try a metallic base, and let's put a micro sparkle pattern on this one too, on the black. So sparkle, micro sparkle, throw that up. Going to take the scale of the sparkles down a little bit. And I'm going to add another one. Let's add, um, let's see. Let's try, Moray overlay. And I'm going to leave the opacity down a little bit on that one just to see what happens. And I'm going to render it right here just to see what it looks like. You can see what this is doing as I just overlaid the specs. Now that I've got all these different colors laid out, it's doing different things to the different areas of the car. Come back over here. And when I reload, with those patterns coming through on the black, I can see some of that moire. I don't know if I like that all that well. I think I like the micro sparkle. It'll show up better when I change the color. So let me take the moire out of the black. So let's just delete that. And let's try to change the color. This is what people, I think, are going to really like to mess with. Besides making bases, if you're actually using a real car, just trying to change the way the car looks. So let's try to change. Let's add a base overlay layer. Now this is overlaying the base of the black. We're still in this zone 4 of the black, so everything we're doing is on the black only. And I am going to try one that I think that I've seen work before. It's a gradient. Ember ice. Let's see if I can find. Just type in gradient. Let me just type in ember. There we go, ember ice. So I'm using that not for the base. It is the base. It's changing the black, but we're going to fix that because it's actually doing the ember ice color, which I don't want to do that. We are going to change this color from ember ice to, I want to make it a little purple. Let's try, all right, oh, this is blue. Oh, so it doesn't matter what color you pick because any of these bases you like, we also have a hue slider and a saturation and a brightness. So we can change this and we will, let's change this to try to get it to purple. That's purple. Now that's going to be way too purple for this. So I'm going to take the strength down to like 50. I'm going to take the spec strength down for this gradient ember ice to like, let's do maybe 65. And the saturation and brightness, I'm going to turn the saturation up a little. I'm going to turn the brightness up a little. Just going to try this. Now this may be way too purple. It probably will be, but it does darken it with the way the spec map looks. So I want to see what happens. All right, so you still have the black, but then now you can see this purple coming through. There we go. This is what I was trying to do. So it looked really purple on the preview, but when you blend all this together and then you have it hit the turn, you're getting the purple popping through the black, depending on the way the light hits it. And you get that shift. You get that little bit of shift color. And the color shift possibilities in this thing is unlimited. There's so much that can be done. There's a shift with the way the light's hitting it. And I think the telltale sign, I mean, for me, is if you're looking like in a replay and if you're racing around somebody on the track and you see this, you see their car change colors, you're like, what? How did that happen? How are they doing that? And this tool lets you do this yourself without having to know the spec maps, without having to figure it out yourself. This is just playing around with it. I don't know if I can improve that a lot from, I mean, that's a one shot. I'm sure I can, but I don't want to make this video an hour. So but we can add another layer if we want to. So you got another base overlay. We're still on zone 4. Let's add one more. I'm going to try to add I'm going to try to, I know this purple black light color, and it is purple already. So now when I click that, you see all the purple come through. I've got to play with it here. So we're going to change the strength. We're going to take it down. We're going to take it way down. I'm going to take this down to like 15. And I'm going to take the spec strength that's popping through from this black light spec down to like 20. Um, so these overlay spec patterns, you can do different blend modes. Right now it's on pattern pop. Um, I think just going to try to tint it a little bit instead of pop the, because there's no pattern on it right now. We could add a pattern, but I'm going to just do a tint. And on the tint, you do have more sliders that you can play with here. You can change the opacity and the strength. I'm going to have this, there's nothing to react to because there's no pattern on it now. So let's just render this and see what happens. It may not change it much because it's still purple, but what it should do is add a little bit of this black light purple in with the regular purple. And maybe we will change that from purple to another color. See what happens. All right. So since it's purple on purple, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, I still like the effect. I like definitely like the purple coming through. And when you zoom out and look at it from a like a wider view, you can see that this car does. You can tell it's purple, but also with the way the light hits it different ways and the different effects on it and the metallic and the patterns that's playing underneath it, it changes a lot of the look of this car. All right, so I'm going to try to change this from purple. So I'm just going to adjust the hue on this. Let's take it to, let's take the hue down, and I'm going to try to brighten that up a little bit because what I'm trying to do is get this color here to come through, the little highlight color in the background. And you can see what it's done on the spec map. The spec map is wild. And it's doing all of this inside the app. You're not having to mess with it. It's changing the R, the G, and the B channels. Come back over here, re-render. And do we get that color coming through? Any difference? It may be too subtle. May have to turn the we may have to turn up something. I mean, we got a little bit of it, but it wouldn't be exactly what I wanted. But you can pop it through with a pattern if you wanted to do that. So I'll come up here, and I know one of the patterns that works well. So we're still on the black color pattern. I am going to add a biomechanical pattern just because I know this works. And you can see what it's doing already. It's throwing that biomechanical pattern in. I'm going to take the scale down because of the canvas size. I'm going to take it down to 0.4. So it's going to shrink this pattern down a little. And it automatically wanted to make this react to the biomechanical pattern, and I don't want to do that for that layer. So I'm just going to hit none. So that changes this back to purple. I am going to go to this layer, the third layer, and I'm going to have it react to the biomechanical pattern. And I'm going to turn the strength up because now I'm going to have it reacting to the pattern. So I'm not worried about it. So see, when I take the strength up, I am going to put pattern pop because I want it to be inside the pattern. And I'm going to harden, which means it's only in the pattern. And I have to take the scale. The scale is independent of the pattern itself. So I could leave this scale up here, but that's going to make it look funky. So I want it to align with the pattern. So now it's 0.4 also. All right. So the color that's going to come through is this greenish color as new black light. Not a lot of spec strength on it, but it is going to have some color. So let's see what this does. There we go. So this is only working in the black areas of the car. It's making it this green pattern. Now that green is a little too much on the purple and everything else, and it's actually catching some of this red, so I would have to play with it a little bit to feather that out. But what I could do is make it purple, like the paint scheme, like the black light color, and we'll just adjust the hue back to make it look purple. I'm going to take the brightness back down to where it's flat. I'm going to take the spec strength up a little actually, but I'm going to take the overall strength down to like 20 because I want it there, but I don't want it to like overpower. So let's see what happens when we do that. It's still going to be messed up here where it's coming through for some reason on the red a little bit. I'll have to figure out why it's doing that. It's not supposed to overlay that. It's just only supposed to overlay on the black. But this is how you give some subtle effects to the car that you can't see unless you're real up close. But what this does is just give another layer to it. So this purple, you see when the light hits it, forgive my driving, this was heck 6 years ago. It's trying at a practice session. But you get all that purple popping through the black and the pattern. You can see the pattern coming through. So for now, I mean, that's probably a little overkill. So I'm going to turn the third layer off. I'm just going to take it out. I'm going to take the pattern. I'll take that pattern off. And I still think we have something pretty fun to work with the with that purple color. Um, you could take the strength down if you think the purple is too much. If there's too much purple coming through, take it down. Make it more black. You'll find a sweet spot that you like. It's just enough black, just enough purple, or whatever color you want to use. So you can see the tint almost look green. purple's so light. You do have like a green flash coming through here as it's coming across the front of the car. Yeah, it's because I've got the purple turned down so much it's not doing much of anything. We could turn it back up a little. So you can play with this. I mean, there is no perfect science to this program. That's kind of what I built it for, is to come up with the most unique things that you could think of. You can make bases with this. You could just use it to make numbers. You can use it to do this. I mean, just what I did with the red and the number. If that's all you wanted to do and be done with it, you've changed a paint scheme and gave it kind of a new life. Jack the purple back up a little bit here though, and now I can see the purple coming through. So when it hits the light a certain way, you're seeing the reflections. It's got some of that green, some of that purple pop, the flake coming through a little bit. And this is that's really just messing with one layer. This is all messing with one zone here, just the black to make this purple. I mean, you could change the color if you didn't want it to be purple, if you wanted it to be green. We can do that. All you gotta do is change the hue. And we're messing with one color also. This is kind of this Frozen Fury color that I just randomly picked. It's just messing with that. But if you wanted to change it to the green, 15 seconds and you've got a green tinted car. Yeah, it's definitely got the green tint to it. If you wanted to change the color, though, I mean, it could be whatever you want it to be. We could go, and some of these obviously wouldn't work great. We could use one of the gradients, Shock Aurora, turn the strength up some, uh, put the hue where it's supposed to be. Now, obviously, because we've not drew it out, and we've got drawing tools here where you could draw it out, or you could load the car with the mask on it to see it better, and do it that way, kind of fine tune it. But this is just playing with the patterns, just to show what it can do. So obviously that's not something that you'd want to do with this particular pattern, but it can be done. Like I would probably try to do something. Um, we've got so many to pick from. We could try the titanium rain. Yeah, we could definitely try this one and see what happens. I'm gonna take the strength down though. I want it to be darker, closer to the black. Let's try that. I think this pattern on it's probably going to look pretty decent. And it's loaded. It's almost too dark right there. It's not coming through quite enough. There's not enough shift in the color. It's fine. I made it too dark. Let's crank the strength up. That will definitely brighten it up. Maybe too bright. We may have to hit somewhere in the middle. Oh, and we're using the Ember Ice gradient for this transition here. We could change the base to whatever we want it to be, or the spec strength on that base. So yeah, that's we wouldn't want to do that. It's too much. but we can take the strength down. You can play with it. There's all kinds of options that you got. So there's no one thing you can do. We're playing in one zone. Really, we've basically just been playing in the black zone. So we took this base paint scheme, Scott Bloomquist, and we done like 10 different things you can do with it. But if all you wanted to do, I'll just click restore all. I'll go back to the beginning. Click on zone 1. Click remaining. Catches the whole box. Change the base color to whatever. I mean, some of these, yes, because it's going to change the whole color. You wouldn't want to just click quantum. It's going to mess with it. You would want to do one of the foundation bases, more than likely. So say carbon fiber. Click carbon fiber, click render. We've got the spec strength up at 100, the base strength up at 100. We have no spec patterns. So all we did was throw a carbon fiber on it, re-render, and then you will have a carbon fiber base. If all you want to do is, if you want to add a spec pattern on top of it, you wanted to use hexagonal tiles over the whole thing, we can do that. Just take the opacity down, turn all 3 channels on, click render. See what it's doing here. And you see the pattern coming through, the hexagonal pattern. It just depends on how advanced you want to get with it. I mean, there's just so many options. So right there, you can see that hexagonal pattern really popping through with the way the light hits it as it slides through right there. So that is a quick and dirty on Shokker Paint Booth. Right now, I mean, you've got up to 10 zones. You can add zones. I mean, if you want to do more than 10, I don't know what kind of crazy car you'd be painting, but you can. You can add more than 10 zones, and you can have all this stuff in each zone. So like when I was in the one zone, you can have like 3 spec patterns on top of the base, and you can have 3 regular patterns on top of the base, and you can have 1, 2, 3, 4 more base overlays on top of the base. So there is like literally unlimited options on what you can do. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's right now, it's still just 20 bucks to get in on Alpha. When this thing gets polished up, it'll be a lot more for full release. And I will try to make more videos that shows how I play with it. So I'm pretty like I've said, started out 1995 taking a floppy disk to high school because I didn't have internet at my house, downloading stuff from the disk on the computer at school, bringing it home and painting. If I would have had anything like this where you could do so much stuff, I'm trying to build this for people that paint or people that don't paint, that just want to be able to put a pattern or a color or whatever on their car. They're going to be able to do all of this inside of this paint booth. So try to make more videos. Thanks for watching.